Hello, Grand Rising, Candy, George. How are you both doing?
Rising.
Fantastic. It's a beautiful day here. Couldn't
Yeah, it's
complain.
beautiful here too.
Yeah. Um, I know it's all early in our days. So I'm going to do something a little, well, I'm very unorthodox, but let's do something just a little unorthodox. So I'm not going to tell you for how long, but let's all just either sit here, stand here, open eyes or closed eyes for just a couple seconds and just be grateful. Okay, now none of you knew how long that was going to be. That was just
I
11
was ready to go to
seconds.
sleep for 5 minutes at least.
A little snooze.
Well, I, I, I've, I've recently thought more just about awareness for me and trying to just accept the moment. And so those 11 seconds or thereabouts, I don't know, I counted. Those 11 seconds or so. And for anyone watching too, you're like, gosh, this is weird. Just to give just a little bit of time to just be, just think of how long that 11 seconds felt, which might feel like a long time, but it isn't if we're doing, you know, we're rushing around, we're talking to people, we're not thinking really about being in the moment. So thank you both
Yeah.
for letting me spring that on you. And
Yeah.
away we go.
I
Thank you.
honestly think more people should probably do that. Just take a beat. Just take
Right,
a beat.
right,
Think about
right.
things for a minute.
I agree.
It's good for us.
I do that every day, at least twice a day, more than that. But I recently built a little pond. It's just a little 50-gallon. That was a tester. I had never made a pond before, and it's like this would be fun to have a few little fish and some aquatic plants. So I stop, I feed them, and I stare at them while they're eating. And there's frogs too. So
Relaxing.
yeah, it's nice.
That's right. Yeah. I've I find the sound of chickens eerily pleasant and calming.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too.
And I mentioned this to my wife. She's like, "Yeah, but why do you like it?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just the tip, 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 something just
Yeah.
I had a I had a small like chicken farm probably about 7 years ago. I had about 200 of them,
oh
and
wow,
Wow.
it was my favorite thing just to get up in the morning and go out and let them out, and they're like oddly excited to see you.
yeah,
So they just I mean they would
They
I
like
had a
you.
rooster that would cuddle with me. It was just like the best part of my day. I don't know.
wow, that's really funny.
Cuddly roosters, who knew, right?
Yeah.
I did not, and this is a great time. So we didn't really do introductions to you, Candy. So I would love to hear more about the 200 chickens and the things before and the things after. Thank you for the trust and willingness for joining George and I to talk with us. So
Thank you.
um, I, it's just a conversation. It flows wherever it goes. But I'd love to hear. I know that you do. Some products that you help the community with, and I know that might be a portion of what you do. But could you give us, in a little bit of time, what you'd like to introduce yourself as?
Well, I guess I'm kind of a fed up consumer. It kind of started there. I have some health issues, so I really was just tired of the answer being, well, take this pill, take this lotion, this
Right.
everything. It wasn't ever getting to the problem. So everything I started to look into, I started reading the backs of things. I started reading the labels because, I was buying a product and all of a sudden that product changed. I couldn't figure out why. Started reading labels. Then I started reading what those products in those or the chemicals and things that are in those
Yeah.
products, what they are doing. And I'm like, I don't have any of those things that my doctor told me I had. I have a problem with these poisons and this stuff. So I just
Right.
basically started concocting some things, and putting stuff together for myself. And in doing that, I had other people who were interested. And so I decided to, I guess, make a business out of it. Being all natural, things that are beneficial for you, things that help you actually, putting something how many people wake up in the morning and then slather lotion all over their face?
Right.
What are you
Not
putting on your
me.
face? Yeah.
Well,
you know, and then can't figure out why they're breaking out or why their skin is patchy and it's 100% because of what you're putting on you. So
That's right.
I just started
yeah.
to read some benefits of some things and thought I'd give it a shot, and here we are.
Well, this is pretty beautiful. I read a book recently, and it talked a little bit about, if you it talks about your work plan and your life plan and where you at with your health and love and work. It tried to, it went through and kind of designing your life. And I'll get there in a moment, but it kind of mentioned when you want to try something new or you're doing something for yourself in your own life, and if it blossoms into like maybe doing for others or a prototype, and just try it out. Like you don't need to just die, you don't necessarily need to just completely quit something and start something. I'm not sure that you did or didn't, but just the way you kind of described it is kind of beautiful. You're doing this for yourself, so first off, it's for you, and then as other people heard about it, others got interested, and away you go. So,
Mhm.
do you do this? Have you done this for a long time? How long has it been?
Not really. Well, a little back history. I am a makeup artist, so I was doing makeup and things like that. I do have some cosmetology experience. Things, I was um, injured when I was a bartender for a while, and I was injured on the job. So this was also kind of a way for me to sort of make some funds. I have
Yeah,
bills to pay, and I can't work. So, it was started kind of there also. Like, I started for myself, and when people started getting interested, I would thought, you know,
yeah,
maybe this is a way to kind of generate some bill money. I'm not looking for a
Right.
millionaire status or anything like that. I just want to pay my Jeep payment and not have them come take it
right.
from me.
Mhm.
Very simple life over here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Um,
I understand.
I am very passionate about, um, I care about other people. I'm passionate about sharing those things with others, and I'm grateful that I've gotten some great support, and I'm blessed in that regard. So
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What are where did you start out? I was looking at your site and I saw maybe like seven or so different
yeah, very
categories.
limited.
Yeah. No, no. I actually, well,
Uh,
I don't know if it's being a guy or what, but like I'm good with just a couple options. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
give me
right.
three or
I
give me
am
less.
neurodivergent, so if you give me a website with 300 options, I'm going to buy none of them. I'm going
Right.
to go right back out. I
Well,
can't.
that's
It's
And especially when
so.
you have
Amazon,
good
not for
search
me.
filters, then it's even harder. So yeah, it's too many options today.
All
Yep.
right.
And
This
most of
is
And
them aren't good.
this is
I
so.
started with the tallow balm because that's really what I needed. I needed lotion. So I
Yeah.
started there. And then I had a friend that requested, she asked if I had anything that didn't have any tallow in it. So then I came up with the salve. I just removed the tallow and everything else was basically the same.
Right.
And then, as summer came around, I've been allergic to sunscreen. I've not been able to wear sunscreen since I was a child. And I thought I was just allergic to sunscreen.
Good for
No,
you.
that's not what I'm allergic to. So then I needed that this summer, so I decided to make that. And then I was going camping, so I needed bug spray. So I could send you some, George.
Yeah, I know.
I,
I got a mosquito right now, and actually I have citronella and lemongrass and what's the other one? Lavender. And I did rub my whole body because I was like, well, there's no mosquitoes that I feel now, but I'm going to rub myself. And this one hasn't landed on me. It's just kind of checking me out.
Right.
it's like you smell delicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just kind of where the products are. It's been things that I've needed personally.
Yeah.
And then I use them and I'm like, wow, this is really good. And then I've had other people say, hey, do you have that? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I just made some for myself. So,
That's cool.
and
That's
that's kind
awesome.
of how the products came about. It's just
Mhm.
been supply and demand, I guess, or demand and supply. And
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, it is the organicness of how that happened is I don't know. I just find it fascinating and really beautiful when there's a synergy for something that you're doing and you're like, well, why not? Wouldn't I do it with others? You mentioned about the choices that same book I just referenced. So this is the synchronicity that kind of comes up at this point, Candy. So it's talking about designing things for your life and for work, and I'm not going to go far into that, but the one thing I was going to mention is that you mentioned about like the options, and there was a study where it was some grocery store, and they had maybe like 5 different types of jellies, flavored jellies. They had it on a display case. They wanted people to go check it out, and there was a percentage. It was maybe like 20% of the store, however they measured it, the store checked out these jellies, but they bought like, I don't know, 16%. Let's just say that. And then they decided a couple weeks later to put 24 jellies out, all different types of flavors, not 5, but 24. And they're like, a lot more people checked it out. It was like 80% or something, but they bought less. And the reason being, at least why this study made that determination, is like, yeah, the bright, shiny object, if you have 24 of them, is great, but like it's too overwhelming. You're like, I don't know if I want lemongrass or peanut butter flavored jelly or this, just my point is, I mean, with you having things that are for you and then for others as they ask, and you're just looking to help other people and do what you do. I totally get it. And people get overwhelmed, not just guys. I mean, I think everyone gets overwhelmed, but I definitely don't like a
All you
lot of
need is
options.
just strawberry jelly, maybe one other one.
Right, right.
I have two in
I,
my house, and that's it. Strawberry jelly, and one is like I think blueberry. It's like a berry jelly, mixed
I
berries.
am a sucker for Amish preserves. So if I am anywhere where there's Amish jelly, I need them all. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't. I can never pick. Like blackberry is probably one of my favorites. But yeah, that was basically it. I honestly, I had gone to the internet because I was like, I want a tallow bomb, and I went to the internet, and everything was loaded with essential oils, which if
Yeah.
it's overused, which it usually is, it's itchy. I'm like, okay,
They're too
I'm just gonna
concentrated.
do this
Also, I'm sure
myself.
you've seen.
Yeah. So I feel like you know we as humans have become spoiled with options and choices.
Mhm.
Right.
Um, but when it really comes down to it, you don't really have a lot of options. If that makes any sense, you're just
Yeah,
kind of
it
stuck
Yeah,
with
does.
what you get.
yeah. If
Well,
you don't pay attention, it's like there's a ton of options, but really, if you think about what's good for you, it's very, very few options out there.
Hmm.
right.
Yeah. And I
And
started using I started using this in my head. What would my grandmother have done? Because when she was my age, they didn't have a quarter of the things. My grandmother passed when she was 91, so that's been years now. She'd probably be like over 100 now. So I think of like, how would she have done it 100 years ago?
that's
Yeah.
right.
This is probably what she would have did, and that's what I started to just kind of focus on. I do that
Yeah.
with cooking. I do that with laundry, you name it, and a lot of issues, because I was having have dissipated. I don't have those issues really anymore, just by scaling back and um, going the simple life. Stress kind of is gone. Which
Yeah.
is that the chemical buildup in my body that was causing it? I don't know, but yeah, that's where we're at.
Were
Well,
you ever diagnosed with like autoimmune or anything like that? I know
Yeah.
my wife was, and
Yeah, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia
okay,
in
yeah.
2005,
Mhm.
and then they've been testing me for like rheumatoid arthritis and stuff like that for
right.
years. I don't really. I kind of reversed all of that.
That's good.
Changing my diet was a huge, huge thing.
Yeah.
I don't like to say I have to eat organic. And unfortunately, if you know the world we live in, nothing is truly organic unless you grow it yourself.
That's
Right.
right.
I live in Michigan, so that isn't
Yeah.
always, I can grow it in the summertime, hopefully, but, it's not always an option.
Yeah.
Uh, so, yeah, just changing a couple of things, changing what I put on my body, put on my skin. People forget it's your largest organ. You're
That's right.
wearing clothes with perfumes and waxes to make them softer. That goes into your skin, and you're going to eventually get overloaded and your body is going to retaliate against you. It's
Yeah.
going to happen. So the cleaner you are, the cleaner you eat, the things you have to be mindful about what you put. Is it easy? Mm-mm. No,
No, it's
it's
not.
not. It's not. Everybody's going out to a restaurant. I have like three options that, it's not easy, but
Yeah.
it's better.
It's
So, God didn't say anything was going to be easy, did he? So that's
no,
where we're at.
no.
Mhm.
And well, the simplicity, at least for me, it reduces a little bit of the chatter just in your mind. All these things you're like, well, I could do this, I could do, all
Mhm.
of these things that sort of get you going back and forth. And what I hear from both of you too, it's just like, I mean, yeah, do you really have a lot of, when there's so many options? It's kind of like if you say, if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. If you have so many options, do you really have any options? Or are you just like picking the next thing that looks shiny and does it really matter? So,
Yeah, I
Most
have a
likely you're
great
pick.
urge to reduce on everything. Like I
Mhm.
want less stuff in my house. I want less different
Yes.
foods. Like we make a lot of our own things. Sourdough bread. You mentioned laundry detergent. Like we went on that path, and it's funny because it started with our dogs. We had two dogs that we had one dog that was diagnosed with Addison's, one that was diagnosed with Chagas disease, and we were feeding them the best dog food you could buy, but we know
Huh?
that's not good. Um, and we switched to feeding them raw meat. Um, and once that happened, our dogs, totally changed. We saw an instant change in them within a
If
couple of
they
weeks.
smell better,
Yeah,
they walk better, everything.
yeah, it was nuts. And our dog that had a Chagas disease was supposed to die within 6 months, is what they told us, and maybe a year. And the dog died 6 years later and died from cancer. And at that time, we didn't know what cancer was when he died from cancer. Otherwise, we would have fixed that too. But
Right.
it's the world really is stacked against us, and you have to do things on your own. But anyway, that's how we got started on our own journey, because she had autoimmune and just cleaning everything up, and we're still doing it. It's an ongoing process. You start with the thing you use the most. I recommend to people, like, what do you use the most every day? Fix that first. Make that
Hmm.
yourself. Find someone that makes it, like you, Candy, anybody, and then go to the next biggest thing that it really affects your life. So like for me now, I went and bought cotton clothing, because clothing is a thing
Yes.
too. So it's like it's never ending to clean up. We have probably 80% of everyone's home is a bunch of junk, and
yeah.
Yep.
not good for us. So it's an ongoing thing, and it's overwhelming. But just start with the biggest thing that is
I'm
not.
really big into the reuse and repurpose. My favorite thing now is to go
Mm-hmm.
thrift store. Like if I need,
Yes.
I need clothes. I'm kind of in between sizes. I'm like, I'm going to thrift store, and I will tell you, I have been finding all the things because I am very much cotton, linen,
Mm-hmm.
wool. Everything that's organic.
That's
I don't want
gold.
any polyester in my nothing. And it's impossible to go to a store, and if you're a woman, I don't know about men, but it's impossible, like, go to buy a pair of jeans. Good luck finding what pair that does not have lycra or something in it.
Mm-hmm.
It they don't exist, and if they do, you're going to spend $200 on them. I don't have that kind of money, but I'm finding them at the thrift store for $5. I am
Yeah,
winning.
that's
That is how
perfect.
I see it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm not consuming more products. This product has already been used once,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just going to use the rest of it. And then when I'm done
Mm-hmm.
with it, it probably won't have anything left, and I don't know, turn it into a quilt or
Yeah.
something. I don't know, but I just don't want to be part of the consumerism that has taken over. We all over consume so much, and you don't even realize it. And I watch like videos on TikToks and stuff, like restocks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
spending. Is it to keep you in that perpetual motion of they have and I don't? I want them to want what I have. Is it that? Is it we all feel so empty because people don't have what's they're supposed to have inside of them,
Right.
because the Holy Spirit has left the building on a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people because they don't believe, they don't whatever. I don't know the answer to that, but I knew the answer
I don't
for
know either.
me was to not participate. I I'm not going to participate in commercialism. I'm not. That's just I'm done. You've gotten me for 50 years, and the next 50 are not. They're not
Yeah,
going to
Right.
get me anymore.
not part of your
So
system anymore, basically.
yeah, no, I don't even think about it. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, have you seen the new?" I don't even know what that is. Don't care.
I love your when
Right.
you respond to someone. It's like they're sharing some celebrity or something, and it's like I don't even know who that is. And it's like that's a badge of honor to be able to say that because you're not you're
Right.
leaving
Yeah, someone
society.
posted something on X the other day, and it was a picture of a celebrity, and I was like, I had no clue. Don't have to clue me in.
Yeah,
I'm out of the loop for a reason. Just leave me out of the loop. I'm totally okay with that. I have zero desire to be sucked into that world.
right.
It's not for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where it is. So
Mm.
I um I find the questions that you asked about a candy. I don't know which one it is either, and I don't know if it's the endless scrolling or anything. But I've found I don't know if I ever was like really like staunch into watching sports or other things like that. Like I just sort of wasn't necessarily my thing. But it's really interesting now observing people like still, and it isn't a judgment. It's this is just an observation. How immersed and emotional they may get in something, even like products and anything you mentioned too. Um, I have seen there be sparks of different conversations I've had with people, and not just people like yourselves, but like people that I'm like in real everyday work. Like there's some glints of like light there where I feel like I can feel some other people, kind of moving up a little bit. Not
I would say
proverbially,
the
I mean by
last probably month.
yeah. And I don't know too much about dates, and it's 999 I guess today, which I saw
Yeah.
yesterday. I
I,
don't know. I
I
mean
saw it this morning
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, well, that's kind of convenient.
right.
Good
I was
for
like,
us.
that's great.
We didn't even
yeah,
know.
it is.
Well, I did think of the date 99, but I didn't do the math on the rest. I'm a simple guy, I guess. But yeah, I guess it's just I'd like to ask you, Candy, have you so you've noticed it in the past month. So where have you noticed it? Most
I
is it?
kind of flip between, I have my Facebook that I kind of just sort of, I guess, test the waters of the general public. And
Mm,
then,
yeah,
How's
I'm
that
starting to
go?
see people who really probably wouldn't have acknowledged, I mean, I'll just say a very blatant one, wouldn't have acknowledged, God's existence for anything. And I'm starting to see those same people now getting spiritual, getting in touch with their I guess their spiritual side and realizing that they don't know
Maybe,
everything.
yeah,
I'm kind
maybe
of
their inner
noticing a
self or
switch
their
of
higher self,
where,
maybe.
yeah,
Go
people
ahead.
were so. I really just want, like, I'm starting to notice that people are starting to realize that they're dividing us and that that can't happen anymore and that we need to just get over it and make things better for ourselves because no one's going to make it better for us, right? And I'm starting to
Right.
see things with um, like current events that we've all been, we've been for the last year seeing some of this stuff that's starting to come out, and the the strength that I'm seeing in some folks are is changed. Something's changed,
Yeah.
and I'm here for it. Really, I see it. I can almost, when you're in public, how often are you standing in line at a grocery store and you see someone just acting crazy to the person that's helping them or to someone that they're with, screaming at them or cursing them out for some reason? And I'm seeing a lot more people kind of step up to that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, that they weren't the problem. They're not your problem. You're having a bad, I'm just starting to see a lot more compassion, maybe
Yeah. I
is
think that's
what
it.
it is.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it. I just kind of accept it and, take a little note of it and um, pray
I've
on it, I guess.
No, I think it's great, and you know, for whatever reason that it is, that's great. I mean, thinking of it through prayer or meditation or just the good, you know, good vibe feelings as you're walking around. I mean, I've noticed for me, a lot of people's. I'm I smile at people and I wave. I'm pretty overly, you know, not a lot. I
Yeah,
don't try to talk or
that's
anything, but I
me.
wave.
Me too.
And I have noticed more responses. When I
With a
say
warm
recently,
smile,
what's that?
with a warm smile
Hmm.
back
Yeah,
at
and
you.
right, and sometimes, yeah, I haven't like made a list of how when it increased, but it seems a lot more. Now it might just seem because I'm wanting to be that maybe that is, you know, we're a mirror to the outside world, so that's possible. But
Hmm.
yeah, that feels really good. I think for just in general, humanity in general, to be able to just at least smile. You don't have to know each other. You don't have to pick out summer curtains together. Like just, you know, just human a
I
little
know
more
the
and move on.
really one main thing is controlling my reaction to things.
Yeah,
Like I can't control the situation, but I can control how I react to the situation. So if I can feel myself elevating, because I am not one you want to get mad. I am a redhead.
Hmm.
So, and I just know that if I can control myself, then I might be able to also keep the person next to me controlled.
yeah,
I might be able to keep their, if because I can feel the energy and I can usually feel when someone's ramping up.
right,
And if I can control my reaction to that, then maybe we can just go ahead and dissolve it before it gets anywhere.
yeah,
And that is a huge um, thing that it took me a while because I would be the first one to tell you what I thought about yourself. Just I,
right,
you better because I'm not the one. Like just
Yeah.
and I've just changed that. I've just realized that I'm not the only one that might be going through something.
yeah,
I might not be the only one who's just kind of winging it out here, and I don't know the stresses that people are going through. So if I can control how I react and I can control myself, that doesn't mean that I don't get irritated.
right,
It does mean that I get irritated a lot less, and for that, I'm here. So
right.
Hmm.
Well said.
I
Yeah, I was taking my son to a soccer game on Saturday, and you know, it was just him and I one on one. It's only a couple minutes down the road, but you know, we were talking, and we talk about not quite to this depth, but we talk about some things that are like for an 11-year-old, like he's pretty with it. Like
listening.
he'll take a couple minutes and like he'll listen to me and then we'll go back to other stuff, right? Anyway, so we were talking and driving down the road, and I might have been going a little bit under like the speed limit, so I wasn't like right at 35 or 40 or whatever it was. And right when we turned to get into the soccer field, like some gentleman behind me let me know how he felt about me. I guess with maybe I was going a little slow, and
Is
he's
he
like,
showing you some love, Adam?
he didn't show me. He voiced his love to me, and
Okay.
That was so
my
nice.
yeah, my
So
son was
sweet.
like, what's wrong with him? I said, I think I was going a little slow for him. I said, I'm sure he's having a day. And I mentioned it to my wife later. I'm like, I'd really like to just, ask that person if they're okay. Like, how's their day going? And she's like, you can't
Mhm.
ask someone who's already pissed off. Like, they're already, I'm like, I didn't mean it that way.
Yes,
I
you
didn't want to be
can.
like, are
Yeah.
you okay? Are you,
Well, how's
no,
your day, buddy?
right. I just,
I'm
it,
sorry your day is horrible, but let me change that for you.
well,
Yeah.
it just made it, I know it's a silly example, but it made me have compassion for whatever
Yeah.
was going on, and maybe I was going a little slow, and that I just didn't have any reaction other than just I hope he's okay. Like that was
Mhm.
the only thing that I
Yeah.
felt.
I
Well, two
started
things.
doing that.
Sorry, two things I
No,
want to say real quick. PSA for everybody: the speed limit is the maximum. It's not what you have to drive. So give everyone some leeway. And I forgot the second one. So you go ahead, Candy.
no, I was just gonna say I had almost a similar experience. I was driving down the road, the speed limit's 25. I think I was going 27. I don't know. And this guy was just I couldn't even see the hood of his vehicle. He was so close to my rear end, and I had gotten rear-ended in 2012 and it was bad. So I am
Yeah.
very cautious about what's happening behind me. And so I just basically just slid over, reached my hand out the window and was like, go around me because
Right.
you're not going to ride, you know. And he just kind of sped around me and to a red light, mind you. So
Yeah.
I was like, Lord
It's funny when you
Jesus.
pull up right behind him.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what this young kid is going through. Maybe he's late for work, Lord, just maybe give him some green lights and help him on his way. And just know, just doing those little things, just instead of cussing him out and just being like, you know what, Lord, bless that guy. He needs some
Right.
help today, and
That's
oddly,
beautiful.
it turns lights green for me, I'm busy intersections where I'm usually very, very apprehensive around. It's like no cars are anywhere near me. And I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
And just those little things, man, just change you. They change you.
Yeah, they
You
do.
start to be softer. Your energy is there's not a lot that can make me angry now,
Right.
and it's a conscious effort to do that. You have to
Yeah,
put in the
That's
work.
right.
it is. Yeah, the awareness is huge, and especially just to be aware enough to not like fall into an old habit or a cyclical thing of like just if you can just like you mentioned, Kane,
Gossip.
if you feel yourself amping up, even a couple times the last few days, I must have had some different calming or awareness about this, and someone said hello and I'd say hello and they'd be like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, you're talking softer. Like, what do they were asking me, and I'm like, no, I really am good. I really am good. But maybe that's
Hmm.
just the more calmness, something like that. So,
I think people are used to too much noise and constant talking and no quiet. And I know this kind of leads into what you've been talking about lately, Adam, about silence.
yeah,
But I do think people just they can't you can't put four people at a table and just sit, not on your phones and enjoy it. Like I'm out here right now and it's nice and it's pretty and I could sit here next to you, Adam. We could just sit and just stare at everything for a little bit, right? And we don't have to
yeah,
And
talk.
just
But
be quiet.
yeah, and
yeah,
it's just people need noise. I guess it's just
and
most of
and
us
that's
just
something
leave.
I don't think people really know how to live life without constant chatter. I mean, my
right,
favorite thing is to just go put my hammock out in the yard and listen to the
Yeah,
birds and everything that's going on around me. I don't have my phone. I might read a book, but a lot of times I just sit there and enjoy, listening to the grass grow. Like it's
yeah,
I
nothing.
agree.
And
Yeah,
that makes me, and but how many people can't? I mean, I started serving about 15 years ago. Well, after my car accident, I couldn't do my desk job anymore. So I was like, how else can I make money? Well, I can sling some drinks and do whatever. So that's what I started doing. You would not believe the amount of people that go out, sit at a table, and not one of the four people, five people, two people, it doesn't matter how often, without their phone in their faces. They're not having a conversation
right. They're not
with
looking
each
up.
other or the people that are at the table. Every single one of them is on their phone. They spend $200 on their meal and not spoke a word and barely acknowledge me when I come to this. It's who the distractions and is it why? I'd rather go. When I go to see my parents, I don't have my phone. My phone is not even anywhere near me.
Yeah,
And so I'll get messages like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm with my parents." Like, period. I want to enjoy their company. I want to talk to them. I want to, see how their day is going. I don't want to talk to you. I can talk to you when there's nobody around,
right.
you
yeah,
know?
Yeah,
How
it's
many of us do that when we should be spending quality time with our significant other and we're on our phone scrolling? Or
yeah,
we should be, watching our children, grandchildren learn something new, and we got our face in our phones.
yeah.
I
I
go to
agree.
concerts. How many people sit and actually watch a concert without their phone?
taking pictures,
Yeah, if
taking
you're gonna
videos.
watch it through the phone, you might as well
You
wait for
must,
the video uploads.
Right.
Like
yeah,
save the
sit at
money.
home, watch it on TV, like
Yeah,
experience it. And I mean, I don't go to concerts anymore, but I'm just saying,
right.
like,
Yeah.
how I spent a lot of money on this ticket, and I'm gonna watch it, and I'll
Mhm.
have it. I don't need a video of it because I got a video of
Yeah,
it right
Right.
right.
here.
That's
You
right.
know,
Right.
we live our lives through these lenses, and we watch so many other people wishing that that was our lives, not realizing it is. You
It
just aren't
is.
paying attention.
Well, your life is just right here, right in this present moment, and for some of us, it, w- for some of us are starting to get it. It's the same reason why for the few seconds, 11 or whatever it was when we started this, and I know I didn't tell either of you that, and it might be odd for someone being like, okay, for whoever watches this, I came to watch a podcast and it's just three people for like 11 seconds just sitting there like I I I wanted to make a moment just to acknowledge just being aware and just being present. Um, it's it's huge what you're mentioning, Candy. It really is. Just being less concerned about the next thing to scroll upon or the next thing to say. Sometime allowing there being like some pauses in conversations. I love hearing a dog in the background now. Like I think that was perfect to just sort of
Okay.
just reminds you you're aware. It's
I had
good.
to send my dogs to work today because
To
we
work.
have, I'm hoping that you can't hear it all, but we have street road construction going,
We can't hear it.
and my dogs are, they will sit in that window and bark and bark and bark. And I was like,
Right.
okay, maybe they need to not be home. It's weird. It's so quiet here. It feels like the house feels empty, like it doesn't have a heartbeat right now. I don't know if you've ever been in your house when everybody's gone and it's just you. It's
I have, but I tend to find that very calming. But I guess
So what
it's
he was doing was that's our new little puppy, and what he was I don't know how old he is now, maybe like 2 months. But if there's a change, like now there's a chair where it didn't exist before, like we pulled it out of somewhere. He's like, that doesn't belong there. That's new. I don't like it. So I have some power cords because I had to run into my laptop out here, and he saw it and he's like, "Oh, what's all these wires?" He's going nuts.
That's funny.
has to let you know.
Yeah. Hey, there's a change.
Yeah,
That's
Candy,
great.
how many dogs did you say? Is it
I
two or
have
three?
two. Yeah,
You have
I have
two.
two.
You have two.
I have a Australian cattle dog, and we ended up adopting a Bernedoodle. Never in my life did I think I was going to have some kind of designer dog. It's just
Right.
not. I have an Australian cattle dog. They are
Now,
maniacs.
is a Bernedoodle, is that from a Saint Bernard
It, no, it
or
is
is it a Bernese Mountain Dog?
that. Yep,
Okay.
Bernese and poodle.
Okay. I was
And
thinking Bernese Mountain Dog, but I thought, well, there is a Saint Bernard. I don't know what that would look like, but
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, she's a ham. Yeah, she basically became homeless, and I was like, absolutely not. She's gonna just come here, and now we have two dogs.
Right.
I if my I was thinking about doing some volunteer work, and it was suggested to me to go to the shelter and walk the dogs and volunteer at the shelter. And I said, "Do you know how many dogs we would have? Because I will bring them all home. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's my dream. Get a bunch of property and make a
Yeah.
sanctuary for all
Me
these
too.
babies. I would take them all. I can't.
So, so speaking of then taking them all, so the chickens. So when we
Oh
started, you
yeah.
mentioned 200 chickens. So, may I ask what happened and why
Well,
you decided that part of your life had to move on?
well, I was, me and my ex were living on a farm that we were renting.
Okay.
And basically, the people just called us one day and said, "Hey, we're selling the house. You guys have
Oh,
2 weeks to get out." And I was like, "No,
Oh
we
wow.
have 30 days." And she, because I was a real estate agent, I was like, "Nice try." But so I had three goats, 200 and some chickens. We were actually supplying eggs to a local Thai restaurant, so it was basically going to become a very lucrative business, and then COVID hit, and gosh, could you imagine?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we had to have a fire sale, get rid of the chickens, find good homes for the goats, and that was the end of that. So it's not the end of my chicken journey. It was just the end of my chicken journey
Right.
there.
Paused.
I understand.
Yeah,
I
but
understand.
it was so rewarding. I got to
Yeah.
see a lot of interesting things. Your life isn't complete until you've given your chicken a bath every, every few hours. You have to
Put on
soak,
my bucket list. On
I
my
was like,
forever
this.
list.
I said, this is where my life has brought me. All right. Epsom salt baths for
Yeah.
the chicken. All right, let's do it. I
I
gotta try to help her. And so I just, God kind of leads me in some interesting journeys. It lets me experience a lot of life, and I am very grateful for that. So we'll come
I
back to it. Right now, I'm
well,
living in the city, and I don't know how my neighbors. I figured if I just bribed them with eggs, they probably wouldn't care.
right.
But I don't know. I don't want to make anyone mad, so they'll come again. They'll be there again.
Yeah.
But right now, we're just on the waiting. We're in the waiting game. So
I hear you.
it just was. It was. I learned a lot about predatory animals. Uh,
Raccoons, foxes,
hawks
that kind of stuff.
are
Oh, hawk.
huge. Just so you
Yeah.
Yeah.
know, if you've ever seen one with its wings spread out against your fence, they are gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea. They don't look that big up there, but they are huge.
Right.
Foxes, just you live and you learn, and
We had a
it's
little
all a
family
great
of foxes
experience.
that was. We had a little family of foxes that was visiting us. We had a fig tree that was full of figs, and they were coming to get the little things that dropped, and it was like I guess a mom and two or three little foxes, and it was the cutest little thing. And we even picked some off the ground and went and put them somewhere a little bit, like in a bush for them. But that's the neatest thing is just the wildlife showing up everywhere. I mean, if they're not trying to eat your chickens or something. But
Right.
Yeah, my current job. It's the best job I've ever had. I am day love for my grandkids. So every week
Mm,
I spend half my week at home and half my week up about an hour away. And my son lives in the middle of the woods. So we have
nice.
deer and we have turkey and we have porcupines. I saw my first porcupine like in the wild
Oh, really?
not that long ago. And I was like, oh, I didn't no idea they were so cute.
Yeah,
Like
They
they
are
are.
they
cute.
are so roly poly and
Like you want
just
to hug them,
adorable.
and it's like, please don't stab me.
Yeah. So, it's just if you don't get a chance to just and stop and enjoy the beauty of it all.
Mhm.
Just like you said, like starting in the silence for a minute, right?
Right.
Just take
That's
10
right.
seconds. Look around you, with your mouth shut
Yeah.
and just take it all in and enjoy it. And it will bring you life.
It will,
It will
and
bring you life.
if you can appreciate how long that might, if you're someone that feels like, oh gosh, that 10 seconds felt forever, then think of that the next time when you're like, I don't have the time. Yeah, I'm too busy. I don't just think of how long that 10 seconds in your perception felt other
Hmm.
times. Candy, I love hearing that. So day love, I really like that. Not daycare, day love.
Nope, they
I got
love.
it.
It's
Picked up
perfect.
on that. Um, you know, I go to I go to a woods every year, at least one time a year. I go deer hunting in Pennsylvania, which is where I'm originally from. I live in North Carolina now, but and we've done really well with the sustenance. Our five kids do not even know they eat venison, and they're not going to find
That's
out
all
until
I
we feed
ate
it.
growing up. You couldn't
Right?
feed me beef.
Yeah.
My mom would try to take me somewhere and get a hamburger like at a restaurant, and I wouldn't eat it because it didn't taste like
Right.
daddy's venison.
That's
I'm
right.
like, nah,
That's
that ain't for me, mom. That is not for
right.
me.
But I mentioned that yeah, I've hunted in the same place since I was 12. But it's and there is portions of that, but I like the first several years that I didn't have a lot of success, but I kept at it. And
Hmm.
not because I eventually got successful, it's because I eventually came to really appreciate silence. And for a
Mhm.
kid that talked a lot, I always got that refrains from excessive talking. I always got that in school. So it was really good. And it wasn't, I found that it wasn't that I was bored or anything else. Like I started appreciating trees and nature and just a little bug that might be crawling along, not just the things I was hunting. So
Hmm.
um, it's huge for people just to, if it's a couple seconds to your point or just anything. I'm not just saying go touch grass. Like, I mean, just go,
Yeah,
just be like, listen to a little bit of wind or anything else. That might sound really simple, but do we need that many options? I don't know. Do we? I
Hmm.
don't think so.
I think feet in the grass has got to be one of the most relaxing things for me. Feet in the grass, sun in my face, and just breathing.
Yeah.
Thanking the universe for everything that we have, and just literally just grounding myself into, this is where I am. I'm in this moment right now. I can feel the
Right.
sun, I can feel the grass, and I can feel the energy coming into my body. And just that has been a something I just started doing, and I would say has made a huge impact on my everyday life and how I view things. I used to worry. Oh, I was a worrier. Ooh, I had anxiety, depression. I was always worried about what I should be doing, where I should be going, who I should be talking to. Everything was always, um,
A
uh,
crisis.
yeah, yeah. I just really felt like, oh, you're never going to believe what happened to me today.
Right.
And
Isn't
I
it so
just,
nice to just be relaxed now and not
yes,
waste that energy and time? And now,
yes.
like, you have all this energy and time to do things you enjoy,
Yeah,
you know?
and I just, when someone comes to me with gossip, I'm like, that's not for me. I'm like, that sounds like a lot. You should
Right.
probably think about your part of that.
Yeah.
But it's not for me, and I don't really want to have the conversation because I can feel it,
Right.
just,
You can feel it
and
yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
not,
this
you're not,
just black thing that's just coming onto you and trying to
yeah, you
leech
can
on
feel it
you
like
and say, no, get
leaching
away,
into you.
Right.
go away.
Yeah, so I, just probably, and maybe people think I'm rude now because I'm not as open to listening to their stories, but I also am one of those people, like, I can tell you're lying. I can
Yeah.
read your mind. Um, I can feel it on you, and you're lying to my face, so that's gonna make me angry. I don't want to be angry, so I'm just going to stop talking to you like about this. We can talk about the weather, we can talk about your shoes, but I'm not going to, and I'm not saying I'm not compassionate, but
Well, I
when I
don't think,
started to
Yeah.
preserve my peace.
Well, and you
right.
can't
You're
fix
protecting your
everybody's
energy.
problem either anyway. So it's like,
Right.
are you really helping if you sit there and listen and it affects you in a bad way? Whereas you could give them something to say, hey, look, I know you have that issue. I don't need to deal with any of that. I don't need to have this problem on my mind. But if you want to make a change, you can always come back to me
I'm
and
here for it.
we can talk about possible changes. And that's the problem because, like, I have a sister-in-law that will just randomly call up my wife or text her all her drama that's going on because she doesn't have a good home or whatever. But
Yeah.
and it's like, no, like, my wife has tried helping her and telling her things. I was like, you can't. She doesn't care. She's not. All she wants
Because
to
she
do is
doesn't really
talk.
want the help.
She
She
doesn't want
wants
the
the
help.
reaction. She
Yeah.
wants the
She wants to,
reaction.
oh yeah, what an asshole he is, or this or that, or whatever. And it's like, no, that we're not
Mhm.
playing those games.
No.
That's not where we are. You know.
The
There's
one question I started asking, and I feel like it's kind of shut a lot of things down for me, is, but what did you do?
right.
What was your part in this?
Hmm.
Because anytime I've done a lot of inter like work on myself, right? And because I don't expect anyone to do something that I haven't done myself, and
Right.
it took a lot, and I dug out a lot of trauma and a lot of emotions and a lot of hurt, and look what they did to me. And we get into this victimhood, this victim mentality.
Yeah.
Everyone is like, you meet someone. If I meet you, I shouldn't know the worst part of your life for the first 5 minutes of your conversation. That's not really. And how often do you meet someone and they just throw up on you and you're like, oh, I just said hello, you know?
Right.
So once I started doing that, I started realizing that me, singular, me, was the cause
Yeah.
of every single problem I had. Every one.
Yep.
I was the root cause of it, period. How I
Yeah.
reacted to it, how I fed it, how I um, maybe didn't address it. Maybe I just like stuffed it down and, it was me every single time. There
Yep.
was nothing that was different there. And so now I expect, because I've done this, right? I
Yeah.
expect you to do the same thing. So if you're going to come to me with your constant problems, I'm going to say, but what are you doing to change it?
Right.
What are you doing to make it better? And if the answer is nothing, then we're done with the conversation because you just want to talk at me and I have other things to do.
Yeah.
And I'll wish them well. I'll say a prayer for them. I will, hope and help them as best I can. But if you're not willing to work on yourself and realize that you're your own problem,
Right.
then you're really going to just you're going to spin your wheels.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that well, not only you protecting your own energy, which is first and foremost, because if you don't put your own oxygen mask on, you're not going to be able to help others. And then the other part is from their side. So if they're in a torrid love affair with the trauma or the drama or whatever's happening
Hmm.
in their life,
So
and
many people.
you are not being you by you being you doesn't prop it up. But if you just listen and give them an ear, and you're like, "Oh, it's really bad. I'm so sorry. Gosh," that just sort of feeds whatever it is they're trying to. Now, will they may go to someone else and do it as opposed to you, but it could also plant a seed to be like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't need to talk about this. Or if you see them a day later and they're like, oh, that's fine. You're like, well, yesterday it felt like a 3 alarm fire and today it's fine. Maybe it doesn't have to be a 3 alarm
Yeah.
fire the next time.
Not
Maybe it's fine.
everything needs a reaction.
Right.
The Boy Who
End
Cried Wolf
story.
is a story for a reason in many ways.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's right.
Yeah, and I feel like it's because so many people are so self-absorbed that the only way to get a space in the room is if you have a bigger story,
Right.
um, a bigger plot that's kicking, and everyone is. I say everyone, but so many people are fueled by that. Um, when you hear some juicy gossip and you get that, ooh, what? And you can feel it like in your chest, like, ooh, tell me more. That sounds great. Ooh, I
I
think
feel
we're
dirty
so
now
fueled by.
when I hear that now. Sorry to interrupt, but I feel dirty now if someone comes
Yes,
and gives me gossip. It's like I
Yeah,
shouldn't
I
be
do too.
hearing this, and I don't
that
care,
isn't for
and
me.
it doesn't do anything for me. Like it just feels dirty now, you know.
Yeah, like you're telling me somebody's business, and if they wanted
Hmm.
me to know that, they would have called me up and told me themselves. I
That's right.
guess is how I kind of
Hmm.
see it. Um, I really and I try, I'm finding myself doing this a lot. Like, I wonder why they did that. Why would they act like that?
Hmm.
Or and then I have to stop to think, I'm like, am I judging them? Or am I actually trying to get to where I could probably help them? Because
Yeah.
I just really want to understand why people are the way they are, and that's a genuine concern. Like, is there something I can do that maybe I could lighten your load a little bit? I'm not going to assume your responsibilities, and I'm not going to take your emotions. I'm a strong empath, so if I could feel someone's emotions encroaching on me, that's it. It's a shutdown.
Yeah.
But that took some work,
Hmm.
just to be able to say, yeah, that's not for me. And it's
Well,
hard.
no,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, I said on a post the other day too. George, you might have seen this. We're not here to save anyone other
Hmm.
than ourselves. So other than making choices within ourselves and being us, and it's a happy byproduct if other people are helped because some people will be drawn to you, in person or maybe online. And some people are really going to get irritated by you because you're not, listening to drama, or you're not doing this. You don't have to, you're not reacting to every single thing or responding.
Your
So,
peace will irritate other people's demons.
right.
Oh, all the
100%.
time. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. And then I'll say on the flip side too, like I mentioned, when we started, but at work, which I work, a regular, silly little sales job. It's great. I enjoy the job, but like, it's just regular corporate stuff.
What's the saying? If you
What's it?
love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life.
Right. So, right. Exactly. And so I, I have found more conversations talking about things like we've touched on here and more. I mean, I had a soul agreement conversation like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I did not have this on my bingo card, and that
Mhm.
is
And
awesome.
here we are.
Right. Um, yeah. And so just by really just holding space, it wasn't like I was like trying to bring it up. I'm like, okay, have I talked about this yet today? Have I talked, it just somehow organically came up. My point is that people in some way will find each other and find help from that. You don't have to go necessarily looking to help others. Just be you, and just that's all
Hmm.
that you need to be. And you're perfect right where you are
That's
without
kind
the
of where
drama.
the name of my company came from because um, I, being in the serving industry, I worked with a lot of younger kids, and um, they all called me Mama Cans, Mama Candy.
Mhm.
What do you think, Mama Candy? And I was, so it's
Mhm.
kind of just became my nickname. Um, because and I have people that text me and be like, Mama Cans, I need your advice, or what would you do if, how do I handle this? And so I guess it kind of, my nurturing, it's must be natural. I didn't think that I was a people person because I don't really like people that much.
Mhm.
It's just,
Mhm.
I guess not that I don't like people that much. I don't like people's crap that they carry a lot around with them
Right.
that much. But
Yeah.
um that's really it. And I feel better. I feel better leaving a conversation where I feel like I've helped than leaving a conversation where I've, you know, cut them to their core,
Right.
and there's people out there that are the reverse. They would rather cut you to their core, and they're going to leave there feeling great about themselves. And
Yeah.
Right.
that's the
Well, I
society
guarantee
that
you
we're
they
in.
don't
And
really feel great. They're just putting on the show. We know internally they're not feeling well. That's
no.
why they had to go and dump on you, or take one out on you.
Right.
Mhm. Yep. I've really noticed since I've kind of removed myself from some situations that weren't serving me, that those situations seem to, I don't know, they're just aggravated, and I just I you gotta figure out yourself. I
Right.
put the work in. That's the only reason why I look like I do. That's the only reason why I feel like I do. It's not because somebody came and sprinkled some magic fairy dust on me and or anything like that. I didn't do anything that you can't do yourself. You just
Right.
have to be willing to put in the work. And no one wants to work. No one wants to work these days. Look at influencers. Everyone wants to hit it big. They
Yeah.
don't really want to have to work a job. Like, I was taught you how to work. I
Right.
started working when I was 15 years old. I actually have way before that. I was babysitting by the time I was 10. Um, us Gen Xers were built a little different, but
Right.
I think about that. I think about how many kids that I have raised in my lifetime, more than my two that I had myself.
Mhm.
How many kids I've potty trained? How many? It's just. But we don't want to work anymore. People don't want to put in the work, and that comes with internally too, and it comes with the
Right.
silence. They don't want to sit in silence because then they hear. They
Yeah.
hear those things that they don't want to hear, and they don't want to have to work on it. Like, oh, you know what? You were kind of nasty to so and so. Maybe, they don't want to hear it. So they drown it out, make it go away. And I that's just I feel like we need to be more compassionate and help
Sure.
others more than what we do
I
personally.
agree.
But
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, and also when when you're working or you're putting food on the table or you're taking care of whatever you need to take care of, not being in a rush to be, like you mentioned about an influencer, like not only do people maybe not want to work, but then also if they do work, they're like, well, I need to make it right to the top, and whoever, whoever's in the way, get out, because that's what.
Hmm.
And like I mentioned, even the job I'm in, which I find great, but like there isn't necessarily a place that I have to be, elevation wise later on. I'm I have to say I'm not quite Gen X, and my wife is, and she has told me that I am not. So I was born in '81. So I think the
I like
cutoff of
my
80,
little baby brother. He's right
right?
around
And my sister is 5 years older than me too. So she was born in '76, and I feel I'm right there. I can see it, but I guess I have to say I'm a
there. You're
millennial.
close enough.
Uh, I
It's
appreciate you,
how you
George.
feel inside. I
Yeah,
just
that's right.
kidding.
Right.
You got enough of our leftovers to make you go on the right path.
Yeah, I was legitimately the baby of the
You came into
family.
the room. It's like, what's left to snack on here?
Right.
Yeah, I was the forgotten child. I
Yeah.
literally was the forgotten child. I was walking myself to school back and forth by the time I was 6. I had a key to my house.
Yeah.
We had, I I had to cook my own food. Not just because I was the
I
baby.
started the dinner for my mom
Hmm.
so that she can come home and finish it.
Yeah, it was, we were just built different, I guess. My mom, and let me tell you though, I always had to be within earshot of that holler out the back door because if I
Right.
was not,
Right.
I didn't. No,
Not us. We were tearing up the
I just
streets,
came
riding all
running.
over for hours.
You know,
I
I
didn't want that. I didn't want no part of Mama yelling at me
right.
because no, because then I was going to get grounded, and then if I was grounded, I had to sit in the yard and watch everybody else play, and I couldn't ride my bike, and I couldn't go fishing, and it's like I'm not getting grounded. And I used to watch
Yeah.
my older sister, and man, that girl never learned. She never learned, and I'm like, not catching me doing that. I'm not lying to mom and dad. You're crazy. Nope. She asked me, I'm telling her. I don't care. Like it's just
That's right.
and I guess that's kind of where I've led my whole life. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you. Like I can maybe keep a secret or, but if you want me to keep a lie, I
Yeah.
can't. I can't even lie for myself. So if you want me to keep your lie, it's not going to happen. If they ask me a point blank question, they're getting the answer.
Right.
So I might not be the one you want to confide in when you're doing shady stuff because,
Yeah.
you know, that stuff comes out. And if they
I've
ask me, it's
had
coming
some
out of me.
moments
I
that
don't,
way too.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
I like
It's
to
on
tell
me.
people, and I don't know if they believe it, but I tell them everything is being watched. We're being watched by everybody, and usually they think like because I was in IT, they think I'm talking about technology. Because I always would tell people, you don't have any privacy online; it's fake. Nothing you can do. Because that was my request. Like, how can I protect from this? How can I protect from that? And as I was in the industry a lot longer, I learned in reality,
There's none.
anything that is out there can be grabbed. And it's just a matter of how hard they're willing to try because there's a way to do it. And now, when I tell people that everything you do is being watched, it's from a different perspective. It's from a spiritual perspective. It's like
Hmm.
we are a TV show for everybody else that isn't here with us. The spirits that are in the other dimension looking down on us. Like, it's like, yeah, when you're sitting there in the room by yourself picking your nose, you're being watched by bajillions of who knows how many that are
Yep.
watching you. So,
Right.
not
Truman
to,
Show.
it's just like, just be yourself already. Like, everyone is watching you anyway. Like,
Hmm.
like,
Right.
Yep. If you're not your authentic self, that really shows through. And I don't think people really realize that. For someone, I'm a watcher. I watch everything. I don't have any desire to be the loudest, the funniest, the prettiest. I don't have any desire to be that person in the room. I want to sit back. I'm going to watch what's going to happen. I feel the energy, and I'm telling you, if I feel it shift, I'm out. It doesn't matter what we're doing. Time to
yeah.
go. Um, and that's where I'm at. And I watch a lot of people and they have a mask and then, they suffer from such extreme anxiety. And I'm like, you have anxiety because you're not being true to yourself and you're worried that that facade is going to crack
You're
and
betraying
someone's going to
yourself.
actually see who you are,
Yeah.
and maybe if you weren't a bad person, that wouldn't be such a horrible thing for people to see, just just be a good person. It's not hard. It's a choice,
It's the easiest
but it's
thing, actually. It takes
it
work
is.
to
It
lie.
really
It
is.
takes work to do things. It takes work to scheme, vengeance, all that.
Yeah.
It takes
And
work.
you don't have to remember the truth.
Yeah.
The
Right.
truth just is the truth. You don't have to remember it. You don't have to remember, oh, who did I say was there? Oh, none of it.
It sounds
Just
very exhausting, I would say.
I'm getting
I
tired
would think
just
so.
talking about it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's probably why a lot of them have drinking problems or smoke themselves into oblivion or, do other things to erase whatever it is that they're running from.
Yeah.
Um, I think that if you just stop, and I'm that person. Like if someone says, "Oh, we're gonna have this problem," I'm like, "All right, let's get to the problem. Let's get it solved. Let's get over it." So then when we get there, we don't even have it. Like
Right.
I like to plan as much as I can, but if I come up against something, it's like, okay, let's fix it.
Yeah.
You know, well, we can't. Why? Why can't we? Well, because it would. All right, go get
Well,
it. Like I don't. So I just would rather just deal with things as they come up and not, because if you put in, I said this to someone, running from my problems has never fixed my problems. Not one time has it fixed my problem. My problem was still there when I got back, and then 6 years later, I had to deal with that problem. If I would have just dealt with it then, I wouldn't have carried that baggage with me for so long.
there's
And
a go ahead, sorry.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what you're describing. There was a concept I heard the other day that talked about um, gravity problems, and we know gravity is not gravity; it's electromagnetic. But anyway, so there's gravity problems and there's anchor problems. If it's a gravity problem for you, don't don't pay it any attention. Like it's a gravity problem. It's there whether you want it to be or not.
Yeah.
Now, anchor problems keep you anchored or stuck somewhere, but you can probably do some things, or you can kind of be creative about it. Don't worry about
Mhm.
gravity. Like it's there whether you want it to be or not. At least in this
Yeah.
one.
That's
So
something I try to teach my daughter too. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like you can really expel some energy on this, but when in the long at the end of the day, is it really anything that's going to detrimentally affect your life? You know, get fired. If you get fired, is that the last job you're ever gonna have? No. Quit
Last job I
or
had, I got fired from, so I don't care. And I haven't worked in over
you
a
know,
year
and,
and a
and
half.
nuclear, well, laid off, but same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the only thing you really have to worry about is being a good person, being spiritually sound, and the rest of it is just literally a movie. It's irrelevant. It's
right,
irrelevant as, you know, Days of Our Lives on television. It's irrelevant. Just
right.
let it go because all it's doing is it's living rent free in your head because here you are bringing it up again. So
Yeah,
how if you've told me about it 3 times, how much have you like
how
sat
much?
and I guess like had muddled that. And so
Right,
now you've sold them your life too because you're sitting at home when you're not even around these people or whatever, and it's consuming you now also.
that's
And
right.
so if you don't put an end to that and let it go, it's still gonna be there, and it's not your problem to have,
No, it's not.
you
It's
know.
renting. It's renting so much space in your head. I don't think there's room for any other tenants.
And we give so much space in our head away for free,
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
free. It just I don't know why that person did it. You
I'd
don't
like to
have to
share
know.
something real quick that, like, you're talking about sharing space for free and like giving the space. And you get invited to go do things, and sometimes those things aren't things we want to do either, right? Like, oh, let's go to a bar, let's go here or there. I mean, we get those invites a lot less than we used to, but I, I I don't want to do a lot of the things that, like, I guess general society wants to do now. It's not fun to me. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of energy. And I'm not really interested in doing that. I'm not
Yep.
interested. And you don't have to be interested in everything or go to everything that everyone invites you to. And
right.
you just do what you want to do. What's good for you.
I found that basically when I quit being a raging alcoholic, I was a very high functioning alcoholic for a very long time. Unfortunately, I regret to inform you. But when I decided that wasn't for me anymore, the amount of my friends went to, I don't get invited to do things because I don't drink. And for whatever reason, that irritates drinkers. I'm still a great time. I don't need
Yeah,
alcohol. I will
Yeah.
make you laugh. It's just,
Can-
I don't,
Candy,
I'm pretty much the same. It doesn't really matter. And, but because, is it that like me having the strength to say, yeah, maybe I was
it
overdoing
might be
it.
their
And
shame. You know, they're
that's what
ashamed that they're sitting here drinking, getting drunk, and they know it's not good for them, and you overcame. And maybe they're a little bit jealous too that, she did it and I haven't, and they don't want to be
right.
around that. It's just a constant reminder of their failure, I think.
yeah,
And then to be able to, like, I can go out and have a martini with my dinner
Yeah.
and have, I probably won't even finish it, but I can do that.
Yeah.
And to some of these folks, that's just, how do you do this? I used to do it when I worked. I would go home, I would stop at a bar and just kind of like decompress before I got home because I knew I was going to be, you know, and I just sit and I'd have one drink, kind of scroll my phone a little bit, decompress from being out of work.
right.
And then in the bartender would be, I don't know how you do that. How do I do what? How do you come here, have one drink?
And you
How
say,
do you
do you
not?
ever? You should
Just
ask him and just say, have you ever ordered a soda and not finished the entire thing? And be like, oh yeah, all the time. And be like,
Oh yeah, right.
same
same
way.
thing.
Yeah,
Um,
and Candy, I know you were joking when you're like, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Like I stopped drinking in January, and it's not
Good
that
for you.
I'm not really counting too much, but I didn't really do that. When it left, it was just like a friend that had just drifted off. But you can call me functional too. I mean, 2 bottles of wine a night, pretty much every night since COVID. Like that was not an off night, and I wasn't like banged up, which
Yeah,
is
no,
even
I'd wake up
scarier.
like, all right, let's do it again.
Right.
And I was Jack Daniels. I drank my Jack Daniels. Ooh, me and
Mhm.
Jack, we were like this.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, it 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 wrecked my gut.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how sick it was actually making me,
Hmm.
because I was functioning. I was
Right.
getting up. I was going to
Yeah,
work.
that's fine.
I
Yeah, you're like,
didn't
what's
have
the
problems.
problem? I mean, it looked good. Yeah,
Yep. And so when I stopped doing that, I just really, like, really, my skin improved, my stomach improved. I mean, I had to do some other stuff, but you know, I really realized how much it wasn't serving me and how much money
yeah.
I had wasted, how much time, that part hit, how
So
much time I wasted.
I wanna take a moment there, and I know it feels like a waste, and I know I
Hmm.
could look at that too, but I wanna consider that life is like a song, not a box of chocolates, but it could be that too, but like a song.
Please no.
And so that song is going to have some silent portions in it. It's going to have a melody, and it's going to have a crescendo. And each of those pieces, if they weren't in the song, then it wouldn't be whole. So even though we might felt like it was wasting, think of the amount of time and effort that maybe Candy, you and I put together, wasting away. Or was it a foundational build that when it was really time to leave, like we'd already done all the things, we didn't have, we're like, yeah, I don't need to do that again. Like
Yep.
all those things had just run its course. So that's at least for me what I tend to think about it as. Like I obviously needed that path for a reason.
I
And
went through a very strong period of FOMO for a while. Like, I just really, if I wasn't, um, you know, out having fun with the crowd, I really felt just disjointed. I was
yeah,
irritated, angry. Why didn't they invite me? Self-pitying, you name it. And then I just realized that, you know what, that's not real. Like, none of that's real. Everyone that's doing this, like, what, I pray for them now. I pray and I'm like, I really hope that you find what you're looking for, because this really isn't it. And
right.
did I have a ton of fun? Yes, my life was fun. I had fun. And I also helped a lot of people. There's a lot of, when drunken counseling sessions. How many times have you given drunken advice to people because they're
Right.
they're crying in
Right.
their beer, right? Like, so I don't say that all of it's been wasted, because I'm sure I've touched people in some way, shape, or form, by being in those spots when they've needed someone. It just doesn't serve me anymore, and it is what it is. I know now, and I know now what not to do.
Mhm.
Right.
Is that goes, I guess. Learned your lessons.
Well, now being yourself, or being more yourself rather, you're helping others too. It's not as trackable probably now, and I don't
My
think it's meant
biggest
to be.
challenge right now, I don't know, like you saying it's not trackable, right? Like, how do I know?
Right. Right. Yeah, we'll never know. But I mean, George said this. I don't know how many, I don't know how long ago, long time ago, probably in the first couple episodes. But just, what's the best way to make sure light's in a room? You shine it out, it's going to reflect back to you anyway. Just be you. Just give light outwards. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not so. I don't think too much about the tracking. Um,
Yeah.
Anymore. I certainly wanted to feel like I'm, helping, but just like I said a little earlier, I'm gonna just work on being, me authentically, warts and all, whatever that is. And if people are helped by it, great. If they're not, it's okay too. So
It really, when you are genuine to yourself and you speak positivity into people, you'll see the people who, maybe are, their demons don't like it very much, because they'll lash out at you, and then you just kind of
yeah,
have to be a little extra for them. uh, do what you can, and be consistent. This is the main thing that I teach to my kids, is be consistent. People can say whatever they want to say about you, but as
yeah,
long as you're authentically you and you're consistently you, you never change. So when someone hears something, they think, oh, well, that doesn't sound like them.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, because it's not. They're making a lie against you. And as long as you are who you are, you have nothing to worry about. Move along.
that's right.
Keep moving.
And even if you do have something to worry about, we're all soul safe. So whatever
Hmm.
happens. It's not that I want there to be travesties in the world, but I really don't have any, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to be, the person that I can be. And if that's not enough, that's okay. Because, you know, this is
So
temporary.
the whole worrying and anxiety thing, it's really just worrying about the future. And if you're worrying about the future of what could be bad, then you're not living in the present. And if you're not living in the present, then where are you? I mean, aren't you essentially a zombie? Aren't you essentially dead?
Yeah.
If you're living in
Right.
the past too, or depressed about past mistakes. I mean, we've all made mistakes. We've all had addictions of something. We have things we've overcome, or some that are trying to overcome, or people, some people may be overcoming it in the future. But you can't look at your past and feel bad about it. It's like Adam says, it's a foundation for your future, and you have to be present. I mean, if right now I'm sitting here focusing on y'all, thinking about what we're talking about, not worried about the future. I'm not thinking about the past and being sad about the mistakes, right?
Hmm.
And that's when you're living. You
Yeah.
have to let go
Yeah.
of all the past stuff and live in the now, and just love what you're doing now. And don't worry about the future. The future may be bad, it may be good, it may be bad and then good, it may be good and then bad and then good again. Like you don't know, but don't worry about it.
I'm not worrying
Just
about
live
it.
here right now.
Yeah.
That's what people need to do is just be present where you are. And it's like it goes back to what you said, Candy, about the phone, right? Like when you visit your parents, you don't have the phone with you and you're just focused in the now and you're living
Yep.
life.
Yep. And I really, I try to do that with my grandkids. I usually have my phone on me because I'm always trying to take little videos of them, because I know that they're not going to be this size and this age forever. And I'm going to want to know, I'm going to want to remember, the little giggles, and the dance moves that we're getting. And but I really do try, even when I'm with my grandkids too. Like, even though Coco Melon isn't my jam, like, I'm watching, and just being with them. Oh man, the light that those kids have given me is just, I was born to be a grandma. I was born to be a grandma. That's all I got to say. It's the
I hear
best
you.
thing. And when you have grandkids, you're screwed. Just so you know, just like, you're done. Your heart is gone. Anything you have money, it's theirs. Like it's
Yeah.
just like that's it. Oh, it's the best gift I could ever have ever in my life. And although I'm not working, I'm currently waiting. I had a like workman's comp claim that I have to sue. I'm not worrying about it.
Yeah.
I just am not. God, he provides for me every time. There's never been a chance. There's never been a time in my entire life. And it kind of reminds me. This one time, I was living in Florida, and there's panhandlers everywhere, right? Everywhere, and I never paid any mind to them. But for whatever reason, this one time, I pulled up to my exit, and this guy, and I made eye contact with him, and I was like drawn and to give him money, and I've never. I had $10. That's all I had to my name. I wasn't working at the time, and I gave him that $10. And I was almost out of gas. I was like, oh, I really needed that, but you know what? Whatever. He needs it more. And when I got home, I pulled into my community, and I was seeing all this stuff floating around in the air, and I was like, what is going on? There's people walking everywhere. I stopped my car. I got out. Just strange. It was money. $350 floating through the air that no one else saw but me. It was in the grass. It was like, you ever seen those money machines?
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
was like, flipping through the air. And there was golf carts, kids on bikes whizzing by me. No one saw it but me. $350. And I went home to my husband and I was like, you're never ever gonna believe what just happened to me. And I showed him the money and he's like, where did you get that? And I was like, it was flying through the air. Flying through the air. And I just broke down. I started crying and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
was that God on the side of the road that I helped, that
I
knew
mean,
that I didn't have it to give, but I gave anyway? I don't know.
right.
But he provided, and that's just where I'm at.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
life life happens. It's gonna suck sometimes, but other times it's gonna be really beautiful. And
Yes.
as long as you take all that in, um, man, you're rich. You don't really need anything else.
No,
You
you
know.
don't. Very, very well said, Candy.
Yeah.
I know we're probably over on time for each of you. Some of us, some of us are earlier than not. Candy, I really appreciate the trust and the willingness
What a
to
Thank
just
beautiful
you.
way to end
this
it
is
too
a
with that story.
yeah, yeah, it is a beautiful story. I'll when I upload this and send out to all the places, I'll put your website up too. Um, Thank you for being you and
Thanks.
Mm.
Thanks
for
for having me.
focusing on yourself and then when others ask, you help them. It's just you've got a really calm vibe around you, and I really appreciate you making time. Thank you for sharing
Well,
that with
thank
Yeah.
me.
you for
Thank you,
having me. I
Candy.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
And it's good to talk to you. I talk to you all the time online, but it's good to
yeah,
actually hear your voice. I
yeah.
really do laugh as much as I say I do in line.
Yeah, me
I am
too.
always laughing.
Yeah. Everything's
Always
funny.
laughing. That's one thing. I'm in the room. I'm in the room. You hear my cackle. And people will turn their heads. They're like, oh, Candy's here. Yep, sure am. Here I am. But I appreciate you guys taking the time and talking with me.
Yeah,
That's my
thank
It
you very
means a
much,
pleasure.
lot.
George. Thank you for reaching out to Candy too.
Yeah.
I didn't really know about you, Candy. It was George. This is all George doing. Hold on for a moment while when I hit stop here, and we'll just let
Okay.
that little thing upload. But thank you both very much. Thank you also for the odd couple moments of silence when you had no idea what I was doing. Thank you for that.
It
Mhm.
And
didn't even
thank,
seem like it was that long. I didn't even, when you
Yeah.
said it was 11 seconds, I was like, really?
yeah,
It didn't feel like that.
Mhm.
it was. All right, hang on for a moment, and everyone watching, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.